Greetings everyone, Joseph James here with your Netly newsletter. It's December 7th, 2009, 68 ticks out of the trade room this morning. Before we talk about those trades we took today, let's recap our totals. 68 ticks, 680 USD. Let's see here, guys. We're coming out of the biggest week of 2009, was last week, of course, $3,300 last week on 4 contracts. Of course, we opened up another great week here, 68 ticks here, 680. Guys, we've done over $4,000 in business in only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days here in the month of December. Let's talk about some of the trades we took today. Of course, we got our day started off this morning. Now, today was a Monday, and if you guys watched Friday's newsletter, we were talking about how Monday we had really not much going on today. We had Bernanke speaking at noontime, and Jacques Richet, he spoke until about 9:45. He was on the news for about 2 hours this morning. We got our day started off here on Crude, guys, here at 9:42. We had our short-term trend here was down. We then break below that red line, and we mark up a swing low here at 74.28. Now at this point, I want to make sure I have a couple things. Momentum should be pointing down. I should have, of course, a nice steep slope to my trigger line. I should have enough room below that 28 level. Count 6 ticks down to 22 to make sure I have enough room below me to let this trade work out. So there's a couple things I'm looking at, obviously, here. 74.28 was the fill. Pretty choppy price action at this point, guys. +4 and then +1. For 10 ticks here, guys, on the first trade of the day. Here, 10.09 on the gold. Very similar pattern here, guys. Universal patterns, which means the same pattern on gold is the same pattern on the crude as the same as the euro. It's going to help me learn at a whole lot faster pace. With 10 o'clock here, as you can see, the short-term trend here is down. We have these red lines here. We break below the red line. We marked up our swing low here at 40.9. Again, all this stuff is done for me automatically with my indicator package. Swing low is at 40.9. We've got our entry here at 40.6. +4, you're +8, trailed our stop for a +1, so we take our first target at +4, second target at +8, and of course our final runner. In this case, price was just chopping around too much. We have a mechanical approach to managing our trades, and we're going to show you guys on our next trade here how we use that mechanical approach. But in this one, that mechanical approach kind of kept that stop at only entry -1 on this breaker pattern short. So of course we got taken out at our entry -1 for a total of 17 ticks or $170. So as you guys can see here, we've got 10 ticks in the first trade, 17 on the second. Now 10:30 here on gold, great example how we have to be able to adapt and react to what the markets are showing us. We have a set of simple rules that tell us what to do if something goes wrong. Guys, it's not enough for me just to be able to know when to get into the market or when to get out of the market. I've got to know what to do if things don't, end up as planned. Because a lot of the times, we've got this preconceived notion that we're going to take our profit targets, move our stops to here and do all this. But then once we get into the trade, what happens? Certainly enough, something we've never seen before will happen, and we have to know what to do in that situation. This was a great example of this, guys. We've got to be always aggressive with our defense. Remember, guys, keeping the money in our pocket, that's our biggest, that's our biggest goal. So give me one good reason to get out of that trade. That's what I'm always thinking in the back of my mind. Remember, our minds as human beings, they don't need any help to keep the trade going. They're going to find excuses and hope and prayer, and just hoping that this thing's going to keep going. So you'll find ways to keep that trade going. What I want to do is I want to trick my mindset, to think on the other side of that coin, and that is give me just one reason to take this trade off the table, keep my money in my pocket, and wait for the next one. So of course, rather than thinking keep me in this trade, I'm thinking get me out of this trade. It's, again, one of the processes you guys go through as you develop into a more experienced trader is thinking how much money am I willing to lose on this rather than how much do I want to make. Protecting capital first and being aggressive with defense. This was, of course, no different. Now, we use a trade management chart, a much faster time frame to manage our trades. We use that trade management chart in conjunction with our fast time frame here. Of course, you're talking about your MACD indicator on your trade management chart, the pace of a tape indicator, and of course your momentum indicator on your fast time frame. If all of those start moving in the opposite direction, we know things are soon going to reverse, and this, of course, exactly what happened here at 10:30 on this breaker pattern long. Now, of course, we had the short-term trend here was to the upside, So we had a beautiful looking pattern here, guys. And of course, once we break above these red lines here, these red lines here, we make our swing high at 45.8. Again, all this is done for me automatically. At 10:30, entry here was at 46 even. But again, we took an early exit in this one because we saw a momentum curl and we had the big sellers, Those big sellers stepped in to push this price back down. So immediately, give me that one reason. Momentum curls and points down. We see big sellers on my filtered time and sales window, and I say, oh boy, there's my reason. Move your stop up to your point of entry. That way we don't simply just get out of the trade, because for all intents and purposes, what got us into the trade was if we followed our rules, it means it should be a valid trade. So stay in the trade, guys, by all means if we can. So I'll move my stop up to my point of entry, making sure that if price does collapse here to the downside, I'm not going to lose any money. Okay, but if it does take off to the upside, I'll be in it, of course, to make the profit. Let's keep moving. So that was a +0 on that 1030 on the gold here, breaker long. Now this, of course, to wrap up our morning here, guys, on crude, as you can see, 41 ticks. By far our biggest trade here of the month of December, and potentially the last 30, 60, or 90 days. I don't remember a +30 trade here anytime recently. We may have had a couple that have danced around that 30 level, but nothing, of course, to this extent. On the crude here, guys, 1039, this was a two-step short. Now, what we've seen is, with the current market conditions being so sideways, double bottoms, double tops, right? You can almost draw a line across the highs and a line across the bottoms. We've really seen a lot of these sideways choppy markets. So with that comes the need for a pattern that will enable you to take advantage of these trend reversals. Now this was one of those gifts, right? What did we see here? I mean, this was one of those trades that was just screaming at us all day long this morning in the room when it was setting up. What do we see here? Now, of course, what is a breaker pattern? First of all, remember, what is a two-step? A two-step is a trend reversal, a counter-trend trade. We're going to originally be looking for a two-step pattern. As you can see, we have this swing high level up here, right? We would have been looking for price to break through this to give us that breaker pattern long. So once again, with the short-term trend here being to the upside, we were looking to break above this swing high to get with our breaker pattern to take this thing to the upside. But of course, what do we see here? We saw, again, like I said, this thing was kind of just daring us to take this short trade because we had, of course, a trend line here. We had the 74.85. This was yesterday's low of the day. And we also had these red auto levels. So we had three: trend line, auto levels, and the low of the day from Friday, I should say. All of which, of course, are going to act as that overhead resistance. So when we see, of course, the short-term trend trying to go up and test that level, and I've got 1, 2, 3 levels now that are going to push that thing down, well, guys, a two-step pattern to the opposite side is almost a dead giveaway. So, of course, we look for the swing low. The swing low, of course, comes here at 81. Now we're expecting now to see a big rush of sellers to push this thing down below that swing low, and that's exactly what happened. Here at 39 minutes past the hour, we got our swing low 81. Entry was at 79. Now this one was a great example, guys. If you were with us this morning on our trade management chart, we have a very simple technique of following this very thin pink line on our trade management chart. It's a very simple way to manage your trades. Well, this worked almost picture perfect this morning. I don't think it could have worked out any better today than it did, because it literally kept us in this trade as it brought it all the way down, locking up all 41 ticks there, guys. A 10% return, okay, a 10% return on one trade here on the crude oil. Guys, all you need is a $4,000 account, guys, to come out and trade with us like this every single day. Add them all up, guys. 68 ticks here in the market. 680 USD on only 4 contracts, guys, and we are on fire here in the live trade room. Let's prep for tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, December 8th, 2009. Of course, we got your usual suspects. 8:20 gold, euro, pound opens up at 9 o'clock. We got your Bank of Canada rate decision. That should be a pretty good catalyst for crude oil. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar, right, what is Canada? Canada, one of their largest exports is crude oil. So believe it or not, Bank of Canada, any decisions they make will affect the crude price. So we'll be looking at that CL market tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Of course, just so happens to be when the crude oil market opens up. So be here with us tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. 9:30 U.S. opens up. 10 o'clock, we have some economic optimism numbers coming out. 11 o'clock, transition to lunchtime. And, of course, 11:30 tomorrow, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do free webinars in our live trade room. So be here for tomorrow at 11:30. Okay, tomorrow morning, guys, let's recap. We open up our live trade room, 7:45 Eastern Time. Come on and join us for that. We've been on a tear here the past couple weeks in the live trade room. Don't forget, if you're watching this video on our YouTube page, right below the video in the description, you'll see 2 links. One, view our 12-month track record. The second is to register for our free 3-week trial. Guys, come out and join us tomorrow morning, 7:45. Grab a copy of the beginner's course. It shows you guys all the setups and all the entry rules. Our last day of trading is December 11th, 2009. My name is Joseph James. Hope the video helped. See you guys tomorrow morning, 7:45. Don't miss a tick. We're going to keep it coming. Bye-bye for now.